The news headline: UN demands explanation from Nigeria. Kenya, how Nnamdi Kanu was extradited. Welcome to this news. Please endeavor to listen to the end. UN said the Nigerian and Kenyan government should furnish it with details of how Kanu was arrested and illegally brought to Nigeria. The United Nations is seeking to know how the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, was arrested and extradited from Kenya to Nigeria. In the United Nations document dated August 26, obtained by a reporter, the UN said the Nigerian and Kenya governments should furnish it with details of how Kanu was arrested and illegally brought to Nigeria. In a release sent to the reporter, Nnamdi Kanu's brother, Kingsley Kanu, said he's working with the lawyers, undertook the interventions to the United Nations, which required the details to be kept confidential for 60 days. The release is titled Urgent Appeals in the case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu against Nigeria and Kenya. Kingsley said, following the extraordinary rendition of my older brother, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I undertook a number of urgent steps within the realm of the international community, particularly in Britain and the United Nations. I worked quietly with my brother's special counsel, Aloy Ejimako, and the bindmans, my brother's lawyer in Britain, on a host of muscular interventions aimed at presenting my brother's case to the international community and facilitating his unconditional release and bringing the culprit of his illegal rendition to account. These interventions were not made known to the general public because the applicable rules, especially that of the United Nations, required them to be kept confidential for 60 days. Those 60 days just expired, and the United Nations has therefore made public the details of its urgent appeals to the Nigerian and Kenyan governments, which were transmitted since 26 August 2021. It also has made public an acknowledgement it received on 17 September 2021 from the Permanent Mission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the United Nations. Both documents are attached to this press release. In particular, the said urgent appeals states, in part, that the United Nations is alarmed by the alleged torture and ill treatment Mr. Kanu has been subjected to during his illegal custody in Kenya. If confirmed, these allegations will constitute prima facie violations of fundamental human rights, including the right not to be arbitrarily deprived of liberty, and the absolute and non-derogable prohibition of torture and other ill treatment under the International Covenant on Political and Civil Rights, ICCPR. Further, the urgent appeal states that the allegations in the case of Mr. Kanu raise serious violations of international human rights laws and may cause irreparable damage to his life or personal integrity, which we believe warrants prompt attention. In this regard, we are considering to publicly express concerns in this case in the near future, believing that the wider public should be informed about the implications of these allegations for the enjoyment and exercise of human rights in Kenya and Nigeria. Any public expression of concern in this regard will indicate that we have been in contact with Your Excellency's government to clarify the issue or issues in question. Continue, the United Nations stated that, while awaiting a reply, we urge that all necessary interim measures be taken to prevent any irreparable damage to the life or personal integrity of Mr. Kanu, halt the alleged violations, and prevent their reoccurrence, and in the event that the investigation supports or suggests the allegations to be correct, to ensure the accountability of any person responsible of the alleged violations. It is important to emphasize that this is just the beginning of more United Nations and other global strong actions that will be seen in the coming weeks. While we await for such actions to unfold, we wish to inform the public that we will remain resolute and relentless in bringing the full weight of the international community to bear on the unconditional release of my brother and leader without further delay. The United Nations are demanding for a good explanation from Nigeria and from Kenya how they extradited Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how he was extradited from Kenya to Nigeria. The United Nations, who said that the ill treatment towards Mazi Nnamdi Kanu while he was in Kenya is uncalled for, is illegal. That is against human rights. Although Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's brother Kingsley Kanu has written to the United Nations, which is required to be kept confidential for 60 days. Now, the 60 days is over, and the United Nations have therefore made public the details of its urgent appeals to the Nigerian and Kenyan governments. And it has also made public an accomplishment it received on 17 September 2021 from the Permanent Mission of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to the United Nations. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been tortured and treated illegally in the custody in Kenya. If confirmed that this allegation will constitute violations of fundamental human rights, including the right not to be arbitrarily deprived of liberty. The United Nations want a concrete explanation of how Nnamdi Kanu was extradited from Kenya to Nigeria. Thank you for listening to this news. Do enjoy